G'day guys, Christian here again with another Tech Built tour review. Today I'll be going through the new Bosch GAS18V-3. 18V being 18 volt cordless, 10 being 10 litre capacity in dry application. It's 6 litres in wet application, and L being the HEPA classification. So that means that 99% of particles that get sucked in the machine stay inside the machine. So only 1% go back out of atmosphere, which makes it great for general duties and general use vacuum. So it's really good for your health as well. Now, very compact little unit. Everything you see comes with it. It has these 3 connectable wands, and then a little dock here for your floor attachment, and then also a little fine attachment for getting in the nooks and crannies. Anti-static hose. Very impressed with this one. It has a little elastic strap, keeps it all contained. You also have these 2 little lugs on the top, so you can use a shoulder strap. So if you are cleaning up floors, whatever, you can throw it over your shoulder. You don't have to carry it around, so that's a great feature as well. Nice big chunky clips to raise the motor off the base. This bucket, as you can see, doesn't have any little indents where the clips need to line up to click it back together, which is great. Nice time consuming function. Clip it back together, no problems at all. It also has this little battery indicator on top near the on-off switch. And then over the side here, this little button, a spring-loaded little lid. This is where the actual battery goes as well. Clip it in there, shut it down. This actually has an IP rating as well, so splash resistance. So if you're a plumber and you're working under a kitchen sink or whatnot, you don't have to worry about any water getting splashed onto the machine and ruining your battery or the machine itself. So it's all very compact. It's not going to be submersible. Don't go chucking it in a pool or anything like that. But yeah, great little feature to have, as opposed to having the battery hanging off the side and exposed to moisture, things like that. Getting back to this hose it's got, anti-static hose, decent length, which is obviously very handy. Being a cordless unit, you don't have to worry about having to drag leads and stuff anywhere. It has Bosch's click and clean system, so these 2 little red tabs work seamlessly with Bosch's accessories and tools. So for Bosch extractors and Bosch accessories and tools, this basically works in harmony. So they click in together. You don't have to worry about it coming undone like you would with standard friction attachments. And also it's got the swivel as well, so you don't have to worry about the hose getting all tangled up. This GAS18V-3 is an accessory I'll be using with the test as well. It's great for drilling into masonry and concrete. You basically connect it, turn the vacuum on, the vacuum holds this up against the wall. You've got this nice little suspension cushion all the way around it, and then that's enough to suck the dust and any debris down into the machine and keep it away from your lungs and the floor as well. So I'll be using that. I'll also be attaching it to my power tools. I'll be doing a couple of tests with a circular saw, possibly a sander, and I'll see if I can do a wet test as well to see how it goes with the water as well. But yeah, great little unit, very well built, quite light as well, which is great. And the fact that everything's on board is really fantastic, so you don't have to be scrounging around trying to find bits and pieces. Everything's there right when you need it, which is perfect for a clean up at the end of the day. So yeah, I'll get this out on the site, I'll see how it goes and let you guys know. So after having this on site for the past week, I am blown away with how it performs. It is actually now going to replace my corded vacuum. So typically when I am on site, I run a 17 litre cord vacuum. It has bags. The bags are quite expensive to replace. The model I have doesn't have the zip reusable bags, so I've got to get the one-use paper bags, so they're quite expensive, and it's a bulky unit to carry around, especially if I only got to do a couple of cuts with my track saw, or I also have a diamond saw that runs on the track as well. But this is now going to replace that. That's how confident and how happy I am with the performance of this unit. Obviously the capacity is going to be down from that, but if I'm going to be doing long-term things, I'm going to have that set up anyway. But for 10 litres, you'll see in the video I was sucking up some sawdust or plane shavings from ripping down some internal trim work. Went through it and sucked all that up, and the actual bucket filled to capacity, but the motor was still going as strong as it was when it started. It still wanted to keep sucking in the dust and the debris. I also hooked it up to the diamond track saw I was just speaking of to cut some fibro sheeting, now very fine silica dust, and I was worried about how that would go with the filter. So like I said, my other vacuum has bags, so I never have to worry about the filter being blocked, whereas with this, it's got your replaceable filter. It did it surprisingly well. After a day's worth of use with both the diamond saw and a timber track saw cutting some marine ply, I took the motor off and had a look at the bucket, and the filter was completely chockers with just fine particle and dust, but I wouldn't have known the way the motor was still working. It was sucking, again, just like it would with the bucket and the filter completely empty and clean, which I found astonishing for a cordless unit. Usually most corded vacuums start to struggle as they start to get about half full, whereas this doesn't. So there's nothing special about the way it operates. Obviously you've got your inlet, comes down and through, wraps around, creates the cyclonic effect, and then you basically, everything else gets brought up through the filter, up into the motor, and then shot back out. And obviously this being the HEPA filter, everything that comes out of here is obviously nice and clean, and only 1% of particles get released, like I was speaking about in the start of the video. Again, like I said before, everything went through all the functions and how well it's kitted out, and with the onboard battery storage. This is a fantastic unit. I can't recommend this higher. There are a couple of manufacturers now that are making these. Different capacities as well. A lot of them are quite small. They're around the 5 litre mark. So obviously they're going to be slightly more compact, but for a perfect balance of capacity and function, this thing was fantastic, and I can't rate it highly enough. Like I said, I'll be using this from now on. It will replace my corded vacuum. The only thing that I was having trouble with, and it's probably a slight oversight on my part, I thought this hose was anti-static, but it's not. So when I had it sitting up on my bench, I was cutting my work pieces, especially with the track saw, it was generating that static inside the hose, and as soon as I went to turn it off with this rubber button, I was getting a zap. So I put it on the ground thinking that it would earth out, still kept doing the same thing. So the only way I was being able to get around that without getting a little tingle was turning it off with the nozzle. If you guys or anyone watching this knows of any other way not to get zapped by a cordless vacuum, please shoot me a comment down below. I tried everything, and yeah, kept getting a little zap every time I turned it off. Again, that's got nothing to do with the vacuum or how it performs. Obviously, building up static in the hose is just one of the factors. I'm sure you can get anti-static hoses for this, but this being a thick rubber unit, which is great for wear and tear, you're not going to be getting any little nicks or holes in this anytime soon. That's the only downside I had, and that's not even a reflection of the actual vacuum itself. Yeah, power, capacity, battery longevity, ease of use, mobility, easy filter change, and then also the fact that you can interchange it with both the Bosch Click and Clean units and the every other vacuum accessory. I'll rate this thing highly. It is a very, very good unit, and I'd love to see it head to head for this up against any of the other cordless vacuums that are around. But not only that, I know that there's a lot of corded vacuums out there that wouldn't be able to match it with the capacity of this thing. So very impressed. Big double thumbs up to Bosch for this one. Super happy with it. So hope you like this video. Give us a thumbs up, write us a comment down if you like, and obviously subscribe as well. Thanks guys, see you next time.